In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best cards right now in NBA 2K25 My Team on a tier list here ranging from S that does go all the way down to F tier because we got about 70 of the best cards currently in the game. And yeah, we have 70 cards to rank here in this video. These are pretty much all of the best cards at each position right now in the game. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about my tier list? Let me know what you guys would change about it at the end of the video. And also let me know what are your guys' favorite and best cards to be running right now in the game. But we got a lot of cards to get through, so I say we just get it going here. And with Dark Matter Brandon Roy, I should say, I would say, you know, the level 40 card is still probably in that A tier category. He is still a very good all-around shooting guard. Now I think there's been a lot of better shooting guards to come out after Brandon Roy, but I still think he's very good. 6'6" at the 2, 6'8" wingspan, and he's still a very good offensive shooting guard. He's got a really good jump shot. He's got decent dribble sigs. He's a great slasher, and they made him a good enough defender as well. He's got tons of Hall of Fame badges with 25, almost at that 30 that 100 overall cards do get. So Dark Matter Brandon Roy, one of the best cards still in this game. I don't think he's S tier just because there are some really good shooting guards on this list, but Brandon Roy I think is for sure A tier. Wilt Chamberlain, I would say more of that like B to maybe A tier range. I could see him in A tier. He's still a very good defensive center card. He's a really good rebounder. He's got an 8-foot wingspan. He's 7'1", but I'm gonna put him in B tier for now, just because the lack of that jump shot does concern me. He doesn't have a great release and doesn't have a high 3 ball and any good shooting badges, but I think he's still very, very good of a card. And you guys have to remember, just to kind of clarify this at the start of the video, these are all of the best cards in the game. So even if I have a card in F or D tier, it doesn't mean they're necessarily bad cards. These are just the 70 best cards right now in the game. So 100 overall MJ, we're obviously going to put, I would assume, every single 100 overall in that S tier category. It's a little bit boring, I know, but these 100 overall cards are the best cards in this game by quite a mile, besides maybe a couple other cards. But yeah, 100 overall MJ, 6'6" at point guard, 6'11" wingspan. Of course, has those 99 stats, almost every single Hall of Fame badge in this game. And they did give Michael Jordan one of the best releases at the point guard position. A super quick release, easy to green. They gave him the best dribble style, the Darius Garland dribble style. Really good sigs as well. I mean, it's gonna be hard to be better at point guard than MJ until we get like a taller point guard that has the same sigs and the same jump shot. But for now, MJ is probably going to be an S tier for the rest of the game until we get to like the GOAT or end game or whatever cards do end up dropping. But Michael Jordan, so good for his time and easily going to be an S tier. Penny Hardaway, I mean, he's a 6'7" point guard. He's definitely solid. I would probably lean towards D tier. Like I said, there's just so many great cards in this game. And I think at the point guard position, he's probably at one of the weaker spots. So I'm going to put him in D tier. D-Rob, again, he's probably on that same range as like a Wilt Chamberlain. Very good center cards. I mean, D-Rob's got a good jump shot. He's just a really good all-around big. But again, there's just so many great cards in this game that I do think they're going to be B tier, probably alongside of Jared Wallace. I think Wallace is really good at small forward. And I think he's a little bit underrated, and he's really good for his price of only like 50 to 60k. 6'7" at small forward, 6'10" wingspan. You're looking at a very elite defensive card that also does have a pretty good jump shot as well. Okay, dribble sigs with like the Garland escape is good. Kobe White behind the back is not bad. Zion Williamson dribble style is not the greatest, but a good jump shot there. And the defense, like I said, is absolutely top tier for Jared Wallace. So I think he's at least a B tier card. Maybe you could go A tier, but I think B tier is probably more fair for Jared Wallace. 100 overall Luka, again, it's an S tier card. Yes, he doesn't have the greatest of dribble sigs in the world, but he's still got one of the best jump shots in this game for a point guard. He's 6'7", 99 stats, every single Hall of Fame badge in the game damn near. He's obviously still going to be in the S tier category. Kawhi Leonard, I think he's probably, I don't know if he's still an A tier card. I think Kawhi's probably now B tier. I would love to see a new Dark Matter Kawhi. Obviously, a new 100 overall Kawhi would be insane and would be for sure in the S tier category as a 100 overall version. But I think his Galiciopol is still a very good defensive card. It's still Kawhi Leonard. He still gets such great animations in 2K. But I just don't know if at this point you can put him on the same tier as a Dark Matter Brandon Roy. So for me personally, gonna throw him in that B tier category. Dark Matter LeBron, is he S tier? I don't know. I think LeBron for sure could be S tier, but there's a lot of great small forwards in this game. So I think for now, probably going to put LeBron in A. I think he's very, very good at small forward that you could definitely consider putting this card in S. But for now, let's throw LeBron in that A tier category. Still a great defender, one of the best slashers in this game as well. Dark Matter Dr. J, I would say pretty easily S tier. Yes, he's not a 100 overall card, so he's not going to be insane stats wise, but he's got such a good jump shot. His defense is very good in game, and he's just one of the best all-around offensive cards right now in my team. So if you're looking for an absolute bucket, Dr. J is obviously going to be a great choice. James Harden, he's still a very good offensive point guard, but for me, I think he's C tier. I think you could maybe argue B. He's a really good offensive point guard, but he does lack quite a bit of defense. I think, again, on this type of tier list, going to throw James Harden in the C tier category, but he is still such a great point guard card at the dark matter tier. Shay, I don't know if I would put him in S. Again, I'm trying not to have too many cards in the S tier category. I know there's a lot of cards, so obviously there'll probably be like 10 in S tier. Is Shay a top 10 card? I don't know 100%. So I think for me with Shay, gonna keep him in the A tier category for now, but I could see him being an S tier like LeBron at the end of the video. Maybe we'll move a couple guys up into S, but right now I think both these cards sit pretty comfortably in that A tier category. Beasley, again, I don't know if I can put him in S tier. I think he's such a great offensive small forward. A really good jump shot on him, and I just think there's better cards in the game because they're higher tier cards, because he doesn't have the craziest stats or badges, but his jump shot is really good. His sigs are really good for a 6'9" small forward. I mean, Beasley is just insane. He is definitely an A tier, maybe even an S tier card. Looking at dark matter Hakeem, again, it's so close. Like, do you put dark matter Hakeem in S? I feel like LeBron, Hakeem, Shea could all realistically be an S tier, but I'm going to keep him in A just for now because I don't want to have every card in S tier. Want to try to keep that to only like the best cards in this game, but I think Hakeem is such a good card, really good defender. I mean, he's an absolute beast at the power forward position. Paul George, to me, I think him and Kawhi Leonard are kind of on that same tier. I know maybe some people argue Paul George in A tier, but I think he's just on that same range as Kawhi. Really would like to see a new dark matter PG, and then he could easily be A or the S tier category. I think Austin Reeves is just slightly better of a point guard, in my personal opinion, than James Harden. I think he's got a really good release. He's a really good shot creator, really good as that primary scorer. Yes, he's not the greatest defensively, and I think that's what kind of limits this card and why he can't be an A or the S tier category, just because of his defense and his size at the point guard position. But I think Austin Reeves is still one of the best offensive cards in this game, so I think he's going to be somewhere in that B tier category. Talking about Bob McAdoo, probably also a B tier card, but maybe you could even argue he's C tier, but I'll go B tier. I think he's a really good power forward, amazing defender, just a little bit undersized at power forward at this point in the game. I think Zach Edey, yes, his size is really good. Like, having a 7'5" center is nice to have. 7'10" wingspan. Like, he's a giant in game, right? Similarly to Yao Ming, but 60 speed, 57 agility. I just don't know at this point in my team. Again, he's a great card for 30k MT. Like, he's really good for his price, but we're talking about the best cards in this game. I don't think you can put him much higher than D tier. 100 overall Kristaps, obviously going to be an S. Like I said, every single 100 overall card is going to be in the S tier category. So that's like 6, I think, or 5 or 6 right there that are easily going to be an S. So it's like, how many other cards can you have in the S tier category? But yeah, Kristaps is insane. But kind of on the flip side of S, in F tier, our first F tier card, I do believe is going to be Curry. Now, I know there's going to be Curry fans out there that think he's still really good and he's so, amazing of a point guard, and he's definitely fun to use, and you can have fun with this card. It's Curry. It's going to be fun to shoot threes with him. He's always so fun in 2K, but he's a 6'3" point guard with not the greatest defensive stats. He's undersized, doesn't have like the craziest of dribble sigs, but he's still a good point guard. I just don't think he's going to be any higher than F tier. Now, dark matter Ron Artest, I think this is where probably a lot of people would disagree. I think Ron Artest is an S tier card. I think he's better than LeBron, potentially better than Shea, and potentially better than Hakeem because of his defense. I think this card is ridiculously good and kind of gets overhated in my opinion. Like, a lot of people like his pink diamond more just because of the jump shot, but I really like this Markelle Fultz base with the Rudy Gay upper on very quick. I think it's one of the best catch and shoot jump shots in this game. His defense is literally like a 100 overall card. I mean, besides a couple stats, he's basically got like 95 plus in every single category that matters. Really good Hall of Fame badges, especially on defense. And I think Ron Artest is potentially the best shooting guard in this game, or at least one of the best. For me personally, I do like him a little bit more than dark matter Dr. J. Scotty Barnes, that card is just very mediocre in my opinion. I would say probably C tier. Like, I don't think he's a B tier level card, but I also don't think he's like a D or F. He's still 6'7" at the 3. He's a very good defender, but the jump shot's not great. The dribble sigs aren't great. He's just very mediocre at small forward. Like, I think Jared Wallace is just a better version of Scotty Barnes. 100 overall Shaq, again, obviously going to be an S tier. They gave him a way better jump shot. They gave him the Chris Bosh base, Franz Wagner upper. Actually, is it the front? Hold on. Let me quickly check, because I could be wrong. It's that, but it could be flipped. I think it's the Bosch base with the Franz upper, or is it the other way around? Yeah, it's the Bosch base, Franz Wagner upper on very quick timing. They gave him the Darius Garland dribble style, which is the best dribble style in the game, and to put that on a Shaq card, that means he can actually dribble and move with a great jump shot, 99 stats, like 97.3, 99 speed, every single Hall of Fame badge in this game on defense. This card is probably the best card in this game, alongside Michael Jordan. Both these guys are easily going to be an S tier. Gali Sopo Yao, he's definitely a way better version of Zach Edey. So I do think you probably got to put him in B tier, just because he's a lot more faster than Edey. I think he's got a better jump shot, and he's a little bit taller, a little bit, bigger player model in game, in my opinion. So I think Yao Ming is still going to be somewhere in that B tier. I can't speak. B tier, because he's such a good defensive center because of his size and a really good offensive paint masher. Joel Embiid, I think, is basically the same card as Hakeem. I think Hakeem's a little bit better, but both these cards are so good at the power forward position, and I would say for now are going to be in that A tier category. AK-47, I think he's probably in C tier. He's a really good defender, but I do like Jared Wallace a little bit more at small forward. I like a Kawhi maybe at small forward as well, but AK is still one of the best all-around defenders in this game, and I think for that you got to put him somewhere in C tier. Drazen Petrovic, probably also C. He's a little bit undersized at shooting guard, but he still is really good offensively. He's got a great jump shot. They did change his release and made him really good at the shooting guard position. Oscar, I know this is going to sound extremely low, but I think Oscar is in D tier. I think he's on the same level as Penny Hardaway. I still think they're great point guard cards, but I like James Harden more. I like Austin Reeves more at that point guard position. DeJounte Murray, I think he's really good. I would probably throw DeJounte in maybe like a C or B tier category. I think he's basically just another type of Caruso card. 6'5" at point guard, 6'10" wingspan, really good defender, especially on the perimeter. The jump shot's decent, like it's definitely a good release. He's got pretty solid dribble sigs. I like Caruso more for sure at point guard, but I think DeJounte Murray is definitely a really good point guard card. Gonna throw him in that C tier category. OG Anunoby, I think he's good. Like, he's actually pretty underrated, but I would throw him in D tier. Again, we're talking about the best cards in this game. I don't think you could put OG Anunoby any higher than D, but he's still a very good card at the shooting guard position. Kel'el Ware, I think sometimes gets a little bit overrated. I don't know if he's on the same range as like a Bob McAdoo. I think at power forward, maybe I can move Bob McAdoo down to C tier, just because there's some better cards in my opinion in B, but I think Kel'el Ware is like a solid C tier card. I don't think he's on the same range as like a Wilt Chamberlain, an Austin Reeves, a Jared Wallace. Like, for me personally, I think these cards are like the top tier cards at their position. I think Kel'el Ware is great. I just don't think he's going to be in that B tier category. Jokic, he's probably like F or D, to be honest. He's just not a great card. I'll probably throw him in that D tier category. 100 overall Vince, again, obviously going to be in that S tier category. I don't know if he's the best shooting guard in this game. I think it could be Dr. J or it could be Ron Artest, but these are probably the top 3 shooting guards in this game, however which way you want to put them, in the ranking. But Vince Carter, obviously 100 overall, the game that Patty Mills base. He's still one of the best cards in this game and easily going to be in that S tier category. Now, talking about Dark Matter Chet, on the same tier as Hakeem and Joel Embiid, a very good defensive card, has a good jump shot. Again, could he be S tier? 100%, but I think for now, gonna have to throw him in that A tier category. Larry Bird, he's probably an F, to be honest. He just doesn't have a good jump shot. Caruso, like I said, a better DeJounte Murray, so I think he's for sure in B tier, but I don't think you could put a Caruso in A on the same range as like a Michael Beasley or a LeBron or a Shea, right? Like, I don't think he's as good at the point guard position as Dark Matter Shea. Talking about Dark Matter Scottie Pippen, he's probably also A tier. I think his versatility, being able to play small forward, be a really good lockdown defender, but also play the shooting guard position at 6'8", which is a great height for the shooting guard spot. He's such a good defender, one of the best locks in this game, and still, it's Scottie Pippen. He's got a really good catch and shoot jump shot, so he can score the ball, also being a good slasher as well. Vlade Divac, I would say he's like maybe a little bit better than Bob McAdoo, kind of on that same tier as like a Wilt Chamberlain. I think he's a very good center card that can also play power forward. I know it's crazy to have a Vlade Divac card over some of these guys in C, but I think Vlade Divac is actually really good at the power forward position. Now, Dark Matter Kareem, for me, guys, I think is S, just slightly over Hakeem, Chet, and Embiid. I think those cards are all very similar, and I'm just kind of making that like slight upgrade Hakeem and S. I don't think there's much of a difference though between Hakeem and, like I said, those 3 power forward cards, but I do like Kareem a little bit more just because of his size, also being able to play power forward. I mean, his player model is ridiculous. His jump shot's really good on very quick timing, and the defense and the stats of this card are basically a 100 overall card. His badges are amazing as well, having 23 on Hall of Fame. So I think Kareem, for me personally, is going to be an S tier category card. Jalen Brunson, again, similarly to Curry, can be fun to use in game. I would say he's probably a little bit better than Curry, but both these cards are easily going to be an F tier. Rudy Gobert, to me, he's pretty much just another Wilt Chamberlain. Yes, they don't have great jump shots. Yes, they don't have great, high three balls and great releases, but they're still going to be insane defenders, really good rebounders, creating a lot of second chance points on the offensive glass, and they're very valuable in game and are really good center cards. I do think they're going to be in B tier. Chris Mullin, I would say he's probably C tier alongside Drazen Petrovic. I mean, he has a really good jump shot. He's a good offensive shooting guard, but I definitely think there's better options in the B tier and A tier category. At the shooting guard spot, Rudy Gay, do you still put him in A? I don't think so. I think Rudy Gay is probably a high B tier card. He's still very good at small forward. He's got a great jump shot, really good slasher, but he does lack a little bit of defensive stats and badges in this game. Victor Wembanyama, easy S tier card. I mean, you could argue he's still the best center in this game after the 100 overalls, Shaq and Porzingis. He's easily the next best center after those cards, and you could maybe even argue he's better at the center position. It's Wemby, 7'4", 7'8" wingspan, one of the best defenders in this game with a really good jump shot. I mean, that card is just unbelievably unfair. He's going to be an S tier 100%. Eddie Jones, again, probably another C tier card. He's similarly to like a Drazen Petrovic and a Chris Mullin. Donovan Mitchell, I think he's better than those like really short point guards like Curry and Jalen Brunson. I do think he's probably on that same range as like a Penny Hardaway and a Oscar Robertson. Vucevic, I think he's C tier. I think he's sort of like a Kel'el Ware, Bob McAdoo type of power forward. I think he's really good offensively, has a good jump shot, but maybe lacks a little bit of defense at the power forward spot. Paolo Banchero, I don't think he's much higher than C tier. I really like Paolo, but I don't know if he's better than like an AK, a Scotty Barnes at small forward. I think Jared Wallace is better. I think Paul George is probably a little bit better as well, even a Rudy Gay too. Lamar Odom, I would say he's also C tier. I mean, he's 6'10" at small forward, so he's got good size, but other than that, not really that great of a card. Gary Payton, I think you got to put, again, in the A, potentially the S tier category. After Luka, after MJ, Gary Payton's probably the next best point guard, but is he a lot better than Shea? It's hard to tell. I think that both these cards are really good at the point guard position. J.R. Smith, he's a little bit overrated. Not overrated. He's a little bit kind of just mid at point guard. I would say he's probably C tier. I think Caruso is definitely better, and Austin Reeves are both better at the point guard position. Jason Tatum, I would say, is D tier. Just not a great card, to be honest. Ray Allen is probably, honestly, D. I don't think Ray Allen's great at all. I think he sucks at the shooting guard position. Kevin Durant and Giannis, I think, are both going to be an A tier. Kevin Durant, very similar card to Beasley, really good offensive small forward, but I do think you got to put Giannis in S. Just the fact that he can play small forward at 6'11" creates so many mismatches on offense. His defense is crazy at the small forward position, being 6'11", 7'4" wingspan. I don't know why they made this Giannis card a small forward. It just made him so much better in game. Yes, he doesn't have the best jump shot in this world, but you're able to green that wide open. His defense is ridiculous. His slashing is still some of the best in this game, and I think he's a little bit better than like a LeBron, a KD, a Beasley at the small forward position, and I do think that makes him an S tier card. Talking about Hedo Turkoglu, he's probably C tier. I think he's a little bit worse than Jared Wallace, but he's still very fun to use at the small forward position. Cat is very similar to Jokic, both going to be in that D tier spot. I think LaMelo, he's probably A. I think he's still a very good point guard. I think he's worse than Shea, worse than Gary Payton, so he'd probably be like maybe in that lower A tier category, but LaMelo's still a very good offensive point guard. He's 6'7" and does have a great jump shot. Cade, I would say, honestly, I don't really like this Cade card. Maybe that's maybe I'm being too harsh on Cade, but I really don't like him at point guard too much. Again, he's still a very good card. If he's in D tier, he's still one of the best cards in this game, but I don't know if I could put Cade any higher than D. Anthony Davis, I would say, is probably C tier. To be honest, I mean, the jump shot is just not great, but he is a very good defensive card. A little bit undersized at power forward. I would say Shawn Kemp is a B tier card. He's really good at small forward, kind of on that same ranking as Jared Wallace. I would say Jaren Jackson Jr. at power forward, you would still have to put somewhere in A tier. Again, I think he's probably lower A tier, but he's still a very good power forward card, really good defender, great wingspan, and does have a great jump shot as well. For a power forward card, I think he kind of sneaks in there at the A tier category. J Rich, I would say, is probably B. He's a really good offensive shooting guard. He's got a great jump shot. I just think Brandon Roy's a little bit better. I think Scottie Pippen's a little bit more valuable for what he can do in the defensive end. DeMar DeRozan, he's honestly kind of mid. Gonna throw him in that D tier category. Magic Johnson, easy A tier, 6'9" point guard. I mean, to have that at the point guard position is ridiculous, and I think he's on that same tier as a Shea and a Gary Payton. Talking about Lauri Markkanen, he's 7 foot at small forward. Very similar card to Lamar Odom. They have heights, but besides that, really not too much. I think Brandon Ingram is probably B tier just because he's 6'10" at shooting guard. That provides a lot of value. Not the greatest of jump shots, not the greatest stats or badges, but I think Brandon Ingram is still very good at the shooting guard position. Kyle Kuzma, he's probably C tier as well on that same ranking as a Lauri Markkanen and a Lamar Odom. Kyle Korver, I think is probably B tier. I don't think you could throw him in A tier alongside, again, a Brandon Roy, a Scottie Pippen at the shooting guard position, but he's still a very good offensive 2 guard, very similar to a card like Ricky Davis, who again, I think is also going to be in B tier. I don't think you could put Ricky Davis in A, but I do think he's very good at that shooting guard spot. Jonathan Bender, he's probably another B tier card. Maybe you could argue A. I would say very high B tier for Jonathan Bender. Derrick Rose, he's going to be an F tier alongside Curry and Jalen Brunson. And Michael Porter Jr., just because of his size, again, kind of similarly to a Lamar Odom and a Lauri Markkanen, going to be in that C tier category. But guys, that's pretty much going to do it for the tier list. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To me, I think those are probably the 10 best cards in this game. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. What would you guys change about my tier list? I know you could probably move like a Gary Payton, a Shea, a LeBron, a Hakeem, a Chet, and a Embiid into S tier. I think all those cards definitely could be considered for S, but I wanted to have like my top 10 in the S tier category and then the rest of the cards in A. I know a lot of people might say those cards could be an S, and that's definitely a fair argument, but just for kind of how I like doing tier lists, I don't like having more than 10 cards in the S tier category. And for me personally, I think those are the top 10 cards in this game. But as I scroll down through this tier list, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys do think about it. Let me know what you guys would change. And yeah, let me know guys all your opinions about these cards, your favorite cards to use right now in my team, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.